The questions answered in this webinar by Dr. Khadar Vali are: do the same principles work for people eating millets in the US? What the 5 millets are? How are they better than rice and wheat? What has white revolution achieved for us? What we are putting in our mouths that is causing disease? What is damaging fertility of our soil? Refinery industries links to bombs and fertilizers. War to food production. Do all grains carbohydrates cause glucose spikes and lead to diabetes and other diseases? What is wellness? Getting along with disease or getting rid of disease? How to get immunity strong? Who is decimating our environment? Why our scientists are not providing real health solutions? Is all technology uniformly doing good? Why we are not identifying healthful herbs and flora in diverse areas? What natural, inexpensive, and effective techniques we should be teaching our children to stay healthy? The right way of cooking millets. The role of lignans in millets, especially in cancer patients and for cleaning toxic food. Is umbali or fermented millets okay to refrigerate? Is it possible to regenerate cartilage of joints, cure fibromyalgia, normalize liver functions with food? What is the replacement for baking soda, baking powder, and vinegar for baking? Should DHA supplements be taken? Why sunbathing is important for you and your baby during pregnancy? Is sunbathing safe or dangerous in afternoons in tropical and subtropical countries? How does the ochre rays of sun benefit us? What is the yogic color and its significance? Why is sesame seeds not mentioned as a source of calcium?
I answered your
Sorry, yeah. Dr. Khadar, this is Jayashri Vemuganti. You've raised a very interesting point, sir. I've been in exclusively watching all your videos and stuff for the past 2 years and following a little bit. I do have a question though.
Yeah, go
Eating
ahead.
millets, you have cured so many people with chronic conditions with millets, but do the
Yes.
same principle work in US for the US climate? Or
Absolutely.
should
Yeah,
we
yeah,
go for some local foods that are,
yeah.
because
No,
you have been always saying that eat local, right?
yeah.
So,
I guess I've answered that question some time back already. These 5 grains that we have selected are
uh-huh.
both local as well as universal, and that is the biggest point that everyone has to understand. These 5 grains
Mm-hmm.
have been thoroughly researched. They are both local as well as universal, and that is the point. The point is that it happens that barnyard millet is known as Japanese millet, German millet,
Right.
and Russian millet. Yes, and little millet is known as African millet, and kodo millet is known as actually Chinese, Himalayan, Tibetan, all these areas millet. And brown top, of course, is American millet. The American continent, even today, you go to Colorado, they are growing like mad. Okay. So, but luckily for us, when we were looking for these kinds of food materials back when 1995, when I came back, 97 or so, it so happens that in our Western Ghats and the open areas and the streams and all that, these grains are grown even today in small villages of our southern India. It so happens all the 5 grains are available in just a matter of 300 to 500 kilometer range of southern Deccan Plateau.
Right.
And that's the beauty. And so what I'm trying to communicate to you is that these are all local foods of different parts of the planet. And you go to pyramids, you see their mummies, their mouths, you have the evidence for I believe it is kodo millet or brown top millet.
So,
Yeah. And our Christ ate unleavened bread of, I think, brown top or foxtail millet. And
right.
foxtail millet is known as Italian millet. So what I'm trying to communicate is just not 5 millets. There are many more actually.
Right.
Many more, and we have given the characteristic of
Right.
release
Yeah.
of glucose to be slow and steady, and
That's
you
correct.
can actually fish out another 5 or 10 more grains in the next few decades to
Right.
give it to human race. So
But-
eating millets is both local and as well as
So
universal.
if we get, say, we have a store here in New Jersey, it's called Organic Millets. I believe they get stuff from India, southern part of India mostly. It's called Organic Spear. So if somebody who is in US, if they get thing from the store, do you think by climate wise and health wise, it would be okay for them to eat that? And
Absolutely. No problem at all. Because if Americans were not to be influenced by these events of whatever have happened in the last 150, 300 years, they would have still been eating brown top millet or little millet. You understand what I mean? So they are local foods. So please go ahead and eat without any doubt, and you will feel the wellness. Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe this is a question. Maybe I can take you offline. I have some news that I need to share to you, but I don't want to use this
Yeah.
public
Okay.
platform. How would you like me to communicate? I have some information that I really need to share with you with regards to
Sure.
millet.
Let's have a separate meeting through Chavi Chawla. Connect to her, and we will meet
Okay.
again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Actually, we would like to hear what is that information.
Dr. Khadar garu and Chaviji and Raju garu, this is Reddy from Hollywood. There are a lot of audience who are new in this call today. Dr. Garu, if you can kindly explain what these 5 millets are, how are they better than rice and other wheat? And also there are a lot of people who have questions, what kind of proportion these millets are cooked to have the best result, number 2. And number 3, there are a lot of people even in the chat group questions regarding the vaccine. I know you have already told about vaccine, but if you can just give your perspective, whether people, what benefits if they have vaccine or also, please. So if you could kindly clarify these few things for new audiences in the group with Chabiji's and Rajuji's permission, if Dr. Garu, if you can spare a few minutes on this topic, please.
It's up to Dr. Khadar completely, but that's the basic information is there on YouTube, on my blog also, on my YouTube also, if you'd like to check that. But if Dr. Khadar wants to answer, of course, it's totally up to him.
Yeah, just in brief, within 3-4 minutes, I would love to answer his question, because it is important that they have connected to us, and it is imperative and our job to inform them, or at least bring them up to, though not the whole story. Sir, it has been a 25-year story. I will try to summarize in 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So back when I was in America, I found a small girl, a 6-year-old girl, menstruating in an hospital, and they were not able to stop the bleeding for the girl. And then that's when I started being a scientist, researching why America, the girls were menstruating at the age of 6 to 10, 6 being maybe the lowest at that time. And I immediately connected to the fact that Americans for the last 20, 30 years, this is back in 1987, okay, they were already fortifying the milk with all kinds of chemicals, as well as synthesizing, I use the word specifically, consciously, synthesizing milk using the HF or Jersey cows, which the research in the name of biotechnology and creating white revolution started introducing these hormones, both steroidal as well as proteinous hormones, into the bodies of the babies. And the baby's hormone imbalance started. And then people started menstruating early. And that's because of the societal conditions where women was actually trying to come out of the shackles of women liberation, that they have to work and all that. So all said and done, then I figured out that it gave me the kick start to watch and do work on all the things that are going to the human mouth since that particular point. So it came to me very clear and obvious that what all the human race by 1990 itself was eating a lot of wrong things, including rice, wheat, milk, meat. All these materials are not meant to go into our mouths because they release glucose, especially all the grains that we were eating, rice, wheat, sugar, and immediately the connection was made that because to produce these grains were actually damaging the planet Earth's soil fertility, because we were using fertilizers and pesticides in large quantities. And within no time, it came to me very clearly that the diesel industry, refinery industry is actually supplying the raw materials to the bombs as well as the fertilizers. Though bomb making came first and then the fertilizer industry came. And this all was happening at the time of chemistry evolving itself. Linus Pauling and such great salvers. And so being a scientist, being a bioscientist, I was able to connect all these things and then figured out that we are eating wrong things. So wheat was wrong for me, rice was wrong for me, because it blood is being flooded with glucose when you eat these foods. And the glucose in large quantities disturbs our biological systems. So the essence of health, I understood, has to be release of glucose into the bloodstream in a slow and steady manner. And after realizing that aspect, I started looking at the ancient foods. Why were ancient people not ancient? Mean I'm not talking about millions of years ago, just 200, 300 years ago, actually. Then figured out that there were many grains that the human race was eating, and that's how I rambled all the names, barnyard millet is Japanese millet, foxtail millet is Italian millet. And then you can go back and see our Bible and unleavened bread. All these examples that I quoted clearly indicated that our ancestors, just 400, 500 years ancestors, were not eating rice and wheat at all, because to produce rice and wheat, you need special conditions. That is lot of water, lot of weather conditions and all that. So all that is actually developed because of fertilizer industries, and then green revolution, white revolution. All this economic model got evolved in the last 100 years. So clearly understanding that it is an artificial food that the human race is eating, and that should be the essence of all our ill health. So I started working 25 years ago that if you go back to the original ancient foods, our health should be all right. On that proposition, I started growing these grains and then started feeding all the sick fellows, HIV patients, diabetic patients, gangrene patients, BP patients. Lo and behold, in a matter of 6 months, hundreds and thousands are getting well. Well means real wellness. A fellow who could not put 3 steps could now climb mountains. That's the kind of wellness we are talking about. So since then, we have figured out these 5 grains, because of the fiber to carbohydrate ratio being the right ratio, that is single digits, can produce this miracles. The word miracle I'm consciously using because we're in such a dire required condition that everyone is becoming sick. Now we have a path to make everyone well. It is not curing. We are making them healthy, from unhealthy condition to healthy conditions. And while doing all this, we have figured out, including, actually, I was the only fellow talking in my lectures about immunity for the last 15, 20 years, because I am aware of these infectious diseases, and we have to make ourselves strong, and only then you will be healthy. So if you go back to my literature, which has been spanning for the last 10, 15 years, I was talking about these infectious diseases, how to become immune strong, and Saptapatra Kashaya, all that, the local available leaves, you can gain the antigenic property. And that's how we were becoming. And we have been disseminating our environment such that our immunity is going low and low. So all these aspects I have talked for various lectures. And as Chavi Chawla can help you to go to these particular videos in the next few days, please do spend some time. We have produced enormous amount of information which is available freely on the net. Thank you. I hope I have briefly summarized what is required.
And Dr. Khadar, going back to what the topic for this week, this webinar, all the diets that we've just talked about that prevail
which are in the fashion world now, it's like a fashion, is basically they talk of low carbs, cutting the carbs, and nobody, even though millet is known, has been around for
Yes.
so long, all these scientists, they don't seem to be aware of the millets, which is very, very surprising.
No, not surprising for me, because this is something which is complete for human race food. And if you choose this, there is no one to gain any money, because if everyone starts in the next 6 months producing these foods in their places and start eating, you will not be, I mean, you will be surprised that we all have to close all these hospitals soon. In next 2-3 years, you can close down all these hospitals. Absolutely unnecessary things can be just closed down. So people are aware of it. It's not that this upper echelons of the so-called scientists and pharmaceutical companies are not aware of it. They are aware of it.
Yeah,
They
so
know it. In fact, they have suppressed, they have removed these grains. Individually, I personally believe that these companies in their boardrooms have been planning to eliminate this wonderful grain step by step, very systematically from the planet, because they have been doing this. I know for sure that all the local foods, local materials, in the name of biotechnology, they actually say we will improve the yields. All these scientists, even today, that gibberish talk is going on. Oh, we will make more yields for bajra, and they will screw it up, because what all they do is, it's not that they are increasing the quality of the grain, it is that they are taking away the right of the farmer to produce the seeds, and then making some tinkling in the genetic material. They have this terminator genes, all these bogus things. They can take away, they can steal the right of the farmer to have the seeds in his hands. And that's how the whole world has brought into knees by this food politics, that if I want to grow my brinjal in my country, I need the permission from these so-called biotech companies. Already it has happened in India. I cannot grow my own brinjal, my seeds are taken away from farmers. And that is the sad story of these tech companies. They are trying to centralize the food grains, and their genetic materials are being centralized. They want everything into their hands. And that's what I'm trying to communicate to people, that it is local and everyone can grow. Only we need the information. And that's why when some people ask me, we don't have leaves that you are talking about, Septapatarkasha. You need to figure out in America, what are the leaves that gives you antigenic property. In fact, one of my trips, I came and we did figure that out for American leaves. So you go to Canada, you need to figure out those antigenic properties of the leaves present in Canada. I go to New Zealand, it's a matter of 3 months. You can just figure that out and keep the information. So naturalists of different parts of the world have to figure these things out. And it is very simple. The rules are very easy. It is not rocket science.
yeah,
Pun is intended.
we
Pun
will
is
get that.
intended.
We'll
Dr.
definitely
Garu,
get
thank
that.
you very much regarding the 5 millets, Dr. Garu. And one more follow-up question. If you can kindly, from your mouth, with the permission of Chaviji, if you can let us know the major 5 ailments which everybody faces, like diabetes, heart attack, skin problem, thyroid. How, what are these, out of these 5 millets, for the major 4-5 ailments, what is the best thing that they should have? A lot of people also want to know, what is the water to the millet ratio of these 5 millets that is best for having the correct kind of nutrients for the ailments that they can get out of this 5 millets?
The last question I didn't get. The last
question is, Dr. Garu, for the major 5 ailments or 6 ailments, what are that one should use out of these 5 millets for, like diabetes? What is that? And
I got.
And the second one is, the people are cooking different ways, but a ratio of a particular millet to water will give you the maximum nutrients out that will cure your body ailments. The right ratio.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
All these 2 questions are answered very well in my protocol, which is available everywhere in almost 4 or 5 languages. And
want to hear from Dr. Garu, from your own.
Okay.
that would be like a Vedam for everybody. With Chavi's permission.
Okay, okay. See, actually, there is nothing like ratio, but there are 2 to 3 different ways of cooking millets. One thing is very important because of the structure of the grain, having the fiber and the carbohydrate very beautifully interwoven from the center to the periphery, and the peripheral lignons being very important. So unpolished grains become very, very important in especially helping the cancer patients, because the lignons have, of course, a lot of work has to be done further into the future. Lignons are very, very important in making our bodies anti-carcinogenic. Whatever carcinogenicity is created by the present day unnatural foods can be cleaned completely by these millets, the upper layers of this fiber, which we should not lose. So the unpolished millets absolutely wonderfully clears up almost all the diseases that we have generated in the last 50 years. So when you take unpolished millet, soak them, and soaking is very important. And soaking releases the fibers into expanding and then allows the fiber to get cooked. So this raw food business does not go well with millets. You cannot eat millets raw, period. At least minimum of soaking is very, very important. So 6 to 7 hours of soaking the grains is a must, because that's the way it is designed. Absolutely. And people may come up with silly questions. So I grind the grain, I have flour, so there is no need for the water to seep in into the center of the grain. The whole flour is exposed. Still, the fiber has to absorb water and expand. Minimum of 1 to 2 hours is required, even if you have flour of the grain, because North people want to make chapati, roti, paratha. So you want, even if you have got the grain completely milled, the flour has to be also soaked for 1 or 2 hours. And just get back to the olden practices of making bread also, they rest the flour. They use the word rest the flour. Rest the flour, you know. Resting the flour means soaking. The fibrous content of all the things have to be soaked and the water has to be absorbed. It takes time. It takes time. Because fiber is a complicated chemical structure. And the water molecules, though are going to be allowed, it requires time, because this hydrogen bonding, oxygen, nitrogen, they have to exchange their bonds in a matter of 15 seconds, 20 seconds doesn't happen. Some chemical reactions do happen that way if electrons are very highly charged. But then the water is a very funny chemical. It is neither charged nor not having charge. So that hydrogen bonding makes it very special and it requires time. And that's why you want to cook slowly and with your own hands. And this is very, very important, very, very, very important, because we are talking about the logic comes from the nature of things. Why water is like that, I cannot answer. It's God's grace that it is like that. So you cannot answer all the questions. Things have to be accepted. That is called nature. Nature is like that. Why water molecule has 104-degree angle between two hydrogens and oxygen? I do not know. I can keep coming up with some hypothetical. Oh, because this sp3 hybridization. Why is sp3 hybridization? At certain point, you need to keep your mouth shut and accept that it is so. So I can go on digging and find, but then there will be a question left. So somewhere you have to stop and accept things as they are, and then the further logic can be built. Okay, so soak the grain, whatever your grain is, even if you are taking finger millet, soak it well. And the biggest mistake present today human race is making, even in India, is not soaking the grains, because people are already interested in ordering on Zomato or something, and they want ready-made to eat. So no one is bothered about making things the way you need to be making. Okay, so this is the first point. Soak the water, soak the grain for 5 to 6 hours if it is full grain. If it is suji, you soak 3 to 4 hours. If it is flour, at least minimum of 1 or 2 hours. And how much water, it doesn't matter. 1:10, you can make fermented porridge and then consume the whole water. Don't throw away, because now all the good things, whether it is vitamins or this or that, are all there now floating in the water. So don't throw away any water. No, I'm answering the question. This is very important. It's a good question. So it is not the ratio of the water. It is whatever water you have first washed and thrown out is gone. The remaining things, whatever amount of water you soak, all the water has to be utilized. If not in the same dish, you can use it in a different dish, but don't throw the water. So 1:10 is okay, 1:4 is okay, 1:2 is okay, depending upon what you want to eat. I want to eat vegetable bath, I want to eat pulao, biryani. So you may want to reduce the amount of water, but soaking is very important. Soak with good amount of water, remove the water, drain the water, use the water in somewhere else, and you can make a dry kind of dish or completely watery dish like fermented porridge, or make roti. It doesn't matter, but don't throw the water away. So this is the technical aspect. And how do you want your dish to taste? How do you want your dish to feel? All that is left to local creativity and your choices. It doesn't matter at all. You can make any way you like. You can make mushy, you can make dry, you can make spongy. All that is left to your creativity.
Thank you, Dr. Khadar.
What we have been seeing is there are a lot of stores popping up left and right, saying that they are selling millets. They're from India, brought from somewhere. But how do we certify? What certification should we be looking for to say it's like not a polished kind? Because what they're saying is that there is some level of polishing that goes. So if we might
it has to be complete trust. It has to be a trust based. See, then you enter into technologies, then a certification. Everywhere the cheating can be coming. Everywhere the policy matters come. It is all trust. You have to trust the people. You have to. I know trust is the last thing that you have right now.
Dr. Khadar, I want to ask you a related question to this, and then we can go to a few more questions that people want to ask you. So the semi-polished, one of the stores here says they are selling semi-polished, so with the germ intact.
Yeah.
You know, with the outside brand germ intact. Is that something which is acceptable? Which is okay?
Yeah, absolutely okay. Okay. See, only for cancer you need the upper lignans, but all other diseases, diabetes, all these things are very simple. By BP, cholesterol, all this can be solved even with little semi-polished, but completely polished is not good.
Okay.
So what is hulled and what was the other one?
So, madam, hulled and husk, Husk, husk. See, removing the husk is called hulling, Hulling. So, basically, proso millet is very easily available, I think, in the Northern American continent. Proso millet. So they remove the husk very easily. That is easily amenable for dehulling. So they all use the words dehulled millet. Dehusking is actually a process called hulling. Hullers they are called. No, actually hulling is actually once you remove the husk, you blow a lot of air and the whole thing gets dehulled. So that is the whole process. Dehusking and removing the husk that is already to be thrown is called hulling.
So that is okay to eat? Those millets are okay?
Yeah.
Okay. The other kind is pearled millets is what.
Pearled. So that was my next question. So then what is pearled millets?
Pearled millet, actually this is a confusion. Pearl millet is a kind of millet, okay? But when you polish them, especially some millets look like pearls, shining. So the word pearl is, there are two different words. Pearl is like your pearls, you have pearls which are shining and beautiful. That's so a millet made to look like a pearl is called pearl. So you can have proso millet which looks like pearl. So what they do is basically they apply little oil or some chemical to make it look shiny. That's called pearl millet. But there is a pearl millet, Pearl millet, which is a particular called in Hindi bajra. It is called bajra. It's a particular millet. So don't get confused.
Okay.
Dr. Garu,
Dr.
last
Rao.
question, Dr. Garu, could you kindly let us know for those major 5-6 ailments, what are the right millets to use, please?
Can we, Dr. Khadar, can we come? I know you're also, it's 5:44. There are like few people who have been trying to reach you and who've been waiting very patiently. Could you please, can I present their questions to you?
Yeah.
So Shashi Rekha, can you please go ahead and ask? Unmute yourself, please. We can't.
Namaskara, Khadar sir. I'm really
Namaskar.
honored and grateful to you, sir. Somebody sent me your video, and from that I started. I have seen several videos of yours, but I have one question, sir. One is, when we do ambali every day, there is like, we are only 2 people, but the amount I make, is left over. Is it okay if I leave it outside and have it second, third day, or I have to keep it in a fridge? Or that's a question, kind of.
Yeah, it's a practical question when the families shrink into 1 and 2.
So
no, sorry for my.
No, because
I'm trying to laugh at our. See, we are becoming centralized small families, and these are the funny problems you face. Imagine there are 5 to 8 people in the house. There is nothing. Your question doesn't arise.
no,
Yeah?
sir, because the thing is, like, if I leave it outside, say second day, the more it gets fermented, is it okay? Or like,
yeah, there is a thin line wherein
okay,
other unwanted bacterial processes start. So you should be able to recognize the smell.
okay,
And if, as long as that smell doesn't come,
okay,
you can have it, and
okay,
nothing happens. And just beginning also okay, you can eat. So depends on the place where you are. In fact, in our place, you go to Vijayawada, within 5 hours everything has to be consumed because it
no,
becomes.
sir, right.
Yeah.
Right now I'm in New Jersey. It's kind of very cold out here.
Cold. So I don't think there is any up to 24 to 48 hours you will have no problem in that cold
okay.
places.
Okay.
And most of American houses, they maintain around 23, 24 degrees. Am I right? Your central.
Yes.
So with that particular temperature, you can keep very safely for 36 to 48 hours.
Okay.
So after
Thank
that,
you,
I personally believe you should throw away. Don't keep it in the fridge. When you keep things in the fridge, what happens? The microbes get into lower activities. So you want to consume, you have to again keep it back. So you are creating the cycles of the microbes are being disturbed by temperature variations. So you in America you have incubators, so you can keep your porridge pot in that particular place and maintain 22, 23, 48 hours, you are good to go.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate. Thanks a lot. Big help.
There is a person who wants to know if it's possible to regenerate the cartilage that is impacted by osteoarthritis in multiple joints of the body.
Yes. Answer is yes.
Yes. And how?
And follow the protocol. Follow the protocol. It is there.
Yes. So which protocol should he follow for the joints?
Oh, right now we have updated the protocol. There are 105. So I don't have it on my hand. No, wow. You just have to go through that. I have sent you the protocol list.
Okay. So
updated protocols you have. You just check for the joints and pains.
Okay.
Dr. Khadar, do you have any, there are lot of women who are going through this perimenopause, menopause stages. Do you have any protocol for that?
Absolutely, absolutely. You look for a protocol of the hormone imbalance. You will get all the details, what you should do, should not.
And there's a new condition. I don't know if you have heard about this. It's called fibromyalgia. When the doctors do not any problem with anything. So do you have any?
It's not new condition. It is just the term is they keep on naming things. No, absolutely no problem. You can you have it covered in the protocols. Absolutely no problem. Fibromyalgia, nothing to worry. You can follow the nerves protocol. Yeah.
There is this person. She says that she's been trying to reach you for the last 3 years, and someone in the family has liver parenchymal, and the sugar is 462. Platelets are low. Hemoglobin is also a little low, and bilirubin is 2, which is high, and alkaline phosphate is 349, which is very high. The normal is apparently is 35.
Yeah, there is a protocol in the serious liver protocol. Just ask her to follow the liver protocol. All the problems will set right.
Okay, because the symptoms, she's listed the symptoms. Can I read them?
I understand. Yeah, no, I know what she's getting.
He has normocentric, some thing.
Yeah, no problem. See, once the 349, the liver functional tests are not right, everything will fall into that protocol. She can go through that. Absolutely no problem. Yeah, SGOT, SGPT are high. Yeah, liver.
He's not able to walk and hold a pen also, sir. That's the problem.
I understand. You follow the liver protocol. Yeah, I mean, she's getting into cirrhotic conditions. They are called cirrhotic conditions. Yeah.
Oh, no. What is normocentric, normochromic?
That is with reference to the blood cells. So don't worry.
Okay, but it's leading to the liver cirrhosis?
Yeah, liver. See, once you have SGOT, SGPT disturbed,
okay.
It is paramount important thing is that you have to correct that first, because it is the liver which takes care of all this stuff. So please follow the liver protocol.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, and this question, this will probably be the last. I'm sure. It's almost close to 6 now, Dr. Khadar. We are taking your time.
No, I have to start my day.
Yes, I know. So we'll end. So we even though it wasn't the way but we've covered still a lot of good ground, and I'm sure lots of people have been helped. So any conversation with you is good. So there is this question about replacing baking powder, baking soda, and vinegar during baking. So you mute yourself, please, if you're not talking. Are there replacements for baking powder, baking soda, and vinegar for baking?
Actually, yeah. Basically, I being an Indian, South Indian, I don't bake. So
she's Indian. This lady who's asking. I don't know.
I know you are all Americanized fellows.
Okay, so the next one is pregnant and nursing mothers are advised.
No, yeah. Let me answer your question. You have to use curds. If you use curds, you can avoid the baking soda and all that, and also it will help you to have banana. Banana also helps you to make things just like so. People don't mind little sweet and banana flavor. You are helped a lot in removing that. And vinegar is absolutely can be replaced by lemon juice or various kinds of sour acids that you have. You can in fact just take tomato juice, filter it, make it thin and use it. Acetic acid is vinegar. So, and people have so-called cider from apple, this and that. And so vinegar per se is artificial. You can use ciders if you are wanting to be natural. There also you get vinegar. So don't use vinegar per se. You can use ciders. I mean, a lot of alternatives are there in your market. Of course, all your market is flooded with plastic. Try to get out of plastic first.
Yes, we have to. That's why this whole sustainability includes not just food, it includes
Yes,
plastic,
yes,
it includes gardening, growing food, growing all kinds of
yes.
things. So the other question is, pregnant and nursing mothers are advised to take DHA tablets on omega-3. So anything else?
No,
What are the foods to be
absolutely.
taken instead?
The same foods, khamir and a good amount of sunbathing. Sunbathing is very important for the babies and the lactating mothers, because lactation depends on these three factors: vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin C. See, these three I keep mentioning because many instances of human existence requires this wonderful balance of these three units in the body. These are fantastic combination. Others are also required. I'm not saying they are not required, but these are central to many of the biochemical functions that people have to understand. So sit in the sun. Please reach. Sun is free. Sun is free. Don't complicate your lives. Don't complicate your lives. Please sit in the sun. Northern hemisphere between 10:30 to 1 o'clock you can, because never sun is harsh there. In tropical and subtropical countries, please seek the sun in the early morning and evenings. Very simple, very simple. Don't go out in tropical and subtropical countries in the afternoons. It is dangerous, not good for anyone. Okay, so this is simple as that. Have I answered your question?
Yes, I'm asking
Yeah.
for somebody, so it's
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So sitting in the sun is the best answer for all that people, menopause, this and that. So sun is very important.
for
And that's what we call Surya Namaskara. You know, we have yogasana, 7 steps
you
of Surya
mentioned
Namaskara.
in your talk today that there is a right posture to get to maximize the sun. What is the posture? Surya Namaskar, that asana or some other posture?
Yeah, that same, the 7 postures, you know, to get to Surya Namaskar, you know, the body gets primed. Yeah.
Okay. To do Surya Namaskar itself.
Yes. 7 steps of the body movements. You know, it's not, Surya Namaskara is not one posture. It is 7 steps. Some people actually divide it into 12 steps.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Dr. Khadar, sorry, real quick, can you clarify about the sun that you just said about US and India? And you talked about ochre sun and things like that. So could you just clarify?
Yeah, ochre sun, OCHRE. Yeah, that particular color of orange color, that's what we call in India. It's kashaya. In fact, a lot of cultural things are connected to that, because I mean, I don't want to dwell into the cultural aspects, and people mistake me. I'm talking religion. No, it is nothing to do with religion. The ochre color has actually the combination of 7 frequencies, basically. So those wonderful set of frequencies of the light is supposed to actually initiate the circadian cycle and steroidal metabolism. Corticosteroid metabolism is connected to that directly. So when the steroids fall in place, the amount and the balance, your body is at peak of your functionality. And that's why the Surya Namaskara is so important in Indian subcontinent cultural aspects, because you are actually, I mean, we also pray God, you know, there are a lot of things about sun, and, you know, it is not only that sun gives the food for the planet through photosynthesis, but each and every individual living thing on this planet is initiated into the right biochemical and physiological process by looking at that particular 7. That's what is called 7. In fact, Chavi asked me, what is this 7 about? It is that 7 horses. I mean, there is a story. For everything, there is a story in Indian continent. So there are 7 horses, and there is a fellow who runs the chariot called Aruna. Aruna is that color, you know, that it's not the red. It is that reddish and yellowish in that mix. And it is called yogic color. It is called yogic color. That's why our sadhus and all wear that orange color dress, I don't know whether people are aware of it. Many Swamijis are also not aware of it. They wear this ochre color clothes, and the clothes are not important. No, they are all just symbolic. But then
That's
if you want to, yeah.
Sorry, I was
That is
saying
the
that's fascinating to hear. I was just not clear when you said for the US folks, you want them to be outside in the middle of the day, but for India, it's in the morning and evening. That's the part I'm confused
Yes,
about.
absolutely. And if you actually, even if you are in US or even Ireland and Canada, if you can catch the sun when that orange color is there, you are the luckiest fellow. Yeah.
Oh yes, we do. We do catch it every day. Every day.
Please do. That's what I'm trying to communicate.
And we do Surya Namaskar in the morning also.
Yeah, please. No. The problem with America, Northern Hemisphere, is the times are very varied. Whereas in India, it is just fixed to half an hour to 45 minutes. And that is the luxury we have because we know it is this time. But in America, it's not fixed. It keeps varying. The sunrise and sunset are very different.
It is so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's brilliant to be.
Yeah, thank you so much. That clarifies so much. Thank you.
Ochre sun. Why don't we get to know about it the first lesson in school? Get the ochre sun.
Yeah, that's what. In fact, I have been telling in all my lectures to all these so-called politicians, why don't you introduce that as the most important thing?
I think the health needs to be changed, revised, the syllabus, children's by whatever they study in school.
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, everyone should take this 2 years and then Gunjilu. All these things have to be introduced.
I'm adding this to my practice from tomorrow, doing this every morning.
Ms. Chala, they don't even tell that the sesame has more calcium than milk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I meant by bias.
I have written this down. Dr. Khadar, I wrote this down, this question which she just pointed out. Calcium. If you look for calcium online, sesame seed is not even mentioned in the food sources of calcium.
And that's what I said, bias of the Western science. I mean, are they scientific in doing that?
And there is a dispute as to how much calcium we should have in a day. Some say 1,000, some say 700 mg. They don't even know how much we need. How much should we? And that also supplement form, right? Supplemented.
Yeah, supplemented.
How much should we
see
having?
All this googling for the nutritional facts is actually a foolish thing to do.
How much calcium is should we be just go with like what you have said, sesame, like 100 to 150 to 100 grams per week?
Yeah, per week. That's the amount. Because this is by practice we have found bones are strong. That fellows can climb Chamundi 5 times a day, no problem.
I have a quick question, sir, regarding the omega-3 fatty acids. They say it's there only in the walnuts, but in the protocol, no nuts to be eaten. So where we can get the omega-3?
No. You can eat nuts. I'm not saying don't eat nuts. You eat local nuts, unprocessed nuts. We eat ground nuts happily here.
Yeah, omega-3, it's only found in the walnuts or it's...
No, absolutely not. It is there in many places.
Okay.
And if it is not present, our body will make it. Don't worry.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Can you kindly post on the chat the multiple protocol links so that everybody can benefit out of, please? All the protocols.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I've been actually sending them out through the WhatsApp group. So if you email me, I can put you in the WhatsApp group, and all the protocols, whenever I get, I'll send them. I keep sending them out in the group.
No,
That helps.
Chavi, you have already got some Facebook, I believe. You can put it in that. People can.
Yes, I have made a Facebook group. Thank you, Dr. Khadar. Actually, I wanted to mention that. So if people can, if you're on the group, I can send you the link, and then you can join and get all the information. Thank you.
Will you please allow me to go back to my day?
Yes. One more question.
Final question, sir. When will we have a Khadar equivalent in US who can tell us what are the equivalent leaves we should be using? That is the need of the hour, sir. To be honest, that is the need of the hour.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I will send Dr. Sarala if you all. She will.
That should be so awesome, sir. That should be awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
You can research research on the local stuff available and can guide people.
Chavi.
Personally, I'm not inclined to come back to America. So maybe I should ask her. I don't know whether my daughter is interested, but I will ask her.
No, you both have to come.
Thank you.
We did not meet
all.
you the last time, so we want to meet you now.
Thank you very much.
All
Shall
right.
I leave?
Okay.
I
Thank you
leave?
so much, Dr.
Thank
Khadar.
you.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Chavi. Thanks for that. That was wonderful.